I'm looking around here today and I see a lot of everyday people, people who have jobs, people who have children, people who are caring about the future of America. A lot of common people. I mean, not everyone up on this stage is a political commentator or a radio host or a think tank head. We have real people that are concerned about what's going on in this country. Our next guest is Lisa Wogan, and she's married with 3 children. She works for the Economic Alliance for Kankakee County. She's also a small business owner of Upper Crossing Communications. She calls herself a classic liberal, which is basically an old school Democrat, and she's against these reckless deficit financing, bailouts, and stimulus plans that are ruining our country, and she's going to tell us why.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, as Brian said, I'm a wife, a mother of 3 young boys, a freelance writer, and as of about 2 years ago, a diehard political activist and government watchdog. In recent years, however, I've become increasingly concerned as a mother and a citizen that the very values I'm attempting to instill in my children, honesty, integrity, and responsibility, are often not reflected in the leaders that we choose to represent us in Springfield and in Washington, D.C. As a result, I pledge to do all that I can to boost government accountability, both locally and at the national level. Since meeting Brian on a campaign trail a couple years ago, I've learned that people really don't want to hear about what you're against. We've heard from the media just this week that, what's wrong with all these Tea Party people? We know they're upset, but what are they trying to achieve? Well, I wanted to say today a couple of the things that I would like to achieve by attending this rally here today. I'm here to support a reevaluation of our current federal income tax structure, one that... Hold on 1 second. I lost my page.
That's all right.
Hold on. I don't want to miss anything. Okay. One that in addition to being burdensome, stands on questionable legal footing, is fraudulently enforced, and regularly fails to withstand judicial challenge. I'm here to support a true free market, something our country hasn't experienced in more than 100 years. One in which ineffective and unacceptable companies are naturally weeded out and not bailed out. I'm here to support the economic wisdom of cutting taxes while cutting spending, allowing people's hard-earned funds to grow private sector enterprise. I'm here to push for a constitutionally confined federal government. One that is kept in check by an alert Congress, press, and populace, adherence to the rule of law, as well as total fiscal and legislative transparency. I'm here to support honest and responsible monetary system, one that's fed by personal savings and investment, not fractional reserves and unlimited deficit spending by the government. I'm here to support H.R. 1207, the Federal Reserve Transparency Act of 2009. With more than 50 co-sponsors, this proposed bill would demand a thorough public audit of the Federal Reserve. The body that has consistently and unabashedly inflated the money supply, resulting in a debased currency that serves to penalize those of us who faithfully save for our futures. It would also demand a public accounting of the recent trillions in taxpayer-backed loans to the banking system. Please look for these cards. People are passing them around in the crowd. Finally. I'm here because I'm a responsible American. As Cicero did back in 63 BC, that the budget should be balanced, the treasury should be refilled, the public debt should be reduced, the arrogance of officialdom should be tempered and controlled, and the assistance to foreign lands should be curtailed, lest Rome become bankrupt. Thank you.
a different road. And by being here today, you're making it clear you want to choose a different road. I like to call that road the Liberty Road. That's the road we need to get on, is the Liberty Road. The only way that we can get on the Liberty Road is people like Lisa, people like everybody on this stage today, people that are going to watch this all across the country tonight in every city. I believe it's now over 700 tea parties going on across the country. There's one simple thing that we must do. We must lead. We must make the politicians follow us and not stand behind them and follow them down that government road of dependence. Say it with me now, say it loudly, say it proudly. We must lead. 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 There's an important point. You came out here today to lead today. I heard on the way in this morning a radio commentator talking about these tea parties and seemed a bit mystified. Seemed to think that, gosh, they're doing it because everybody's frustrated. I admit, that's true. I'm a little frustrated. I'm frustrated with, as everybody's pointed out, the wrong path we're going down. But they were confused. They said, these people don't know what to do, so they're frustrated. I know what to do. I think you know what to do, and that's leadership. So I'm going to challenge each of you today to not make this a one-day event. What happens today has to be sustained tomorrow. It has to be sustained next week. It has to be sustained next month.
And don't forget election day.
Our children and our grandchildren are counting on us to solve the problems today and not kick it down the road, as somebody once said, as he kicks the can down the road. Actually, I'm going to ask you to do something right now. Joe Calamino earlier asked you to get out your cell phone, your Blackberries, and your iPods, and I'm not going to have you call the governor because he'll trace your call and put you on the magic list. But I want to give you access to a way that if you truly want to lead, if you really want to lead, I want you to send me an email. I want you to send me an email right now to John, John, at wemustlead.com. wemustlead.com. You can go to that website, send me an email right now, or when you get home, John at wemustlead.com. I just licked the mic. That's not good. Mancow was up here earlier, and that frightens the heck out of me. Who knows where his mouth has been? No offense, Mancow. If you want, you can text me. You can text me to 773-451-9243. 773-451-9243, or email me at john@wemustlead.com. I'll send those messages to Governor Quinn in Springfield. He has proposed a massive tax hike while people are having a hard enough time paying their mortgages and making their own budget balance. It is not time to balance the budget on the backs of the taxpayers. It's time for the government to start to sacrifice a little bit. Remember one thing as I depart. One simple message. You all might be wondering, will it do me any good to send John an email? Will it do any good to send a text? One person can make a difference. One person does make a difference. We're here today in part because of Rick Santelli. How about Rick Santelli? Rick Santelli, he stood up and he said, I've had it. I've had enough. Send me that email, enough, to John at wemustlead.com. And what we will do is send those on to Governor Quinn. One man, one woman, a woman like Lisa, men and women like all of you can make a difference and we'll go to that website, you come to that website, and we'll give you some key steps on our stuff that we're doing, and other stuff other people are doing, and how you can put the people back in charge of this government. One thing to remember, when we lead, liberty will prevail. And when liberty prevails, prosperity follows. Thank you.